What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Apartment 113 podcast, where we talk with cool folks in the cannabis and psychedelics industry to learn about their projects and celebrate their successes. My name is Rob Sanchez, and this is episode 44. We've got a unique episode for you all today with 7 short interviews from MJBizcon 2023. MJBizcon in Las Vegas is the biggest cannabis industry conference and gathering. With sessions, expo halls, events, awards, networking, and more events on top of that, it's one of the best ways to connect and take your cannabis business to the next level. Find out more at MJBizconference.com. Our guest lineup today features Nigel Despinasse, the owner of Industree Marketing, also featured on episode 8 of the podcast. Shannon Lyon, who's an operations coordinator for Garden State Girl and journalist for Heady NJ. Dustin Hoxworth, editor-at-large and creator of Fat Nugs magazine, also featured on episode 15 of the podcast. Weiser, who's a data scientist and cloud infrastructure engineer at Neatleaf. Then we have Noll, who's in sales with Rooster Gourmets, followed by Sebastion, the creator and award-winning cultivator at 420 Fast Buds. Following up, and last but not least, of course, we have Puffenbarger, the VP of Marketing Cannabis Division at Green Check Verified. Enjoy the show. We are coming to you live from the Golden Paddle Showdown, a little event kicking off here for MJBizcon Day 1. Quick Review is sponsoring. We got Polar Gold in the house, and our first guest of the day here is Nigel Despinasse. Nigel, man, welcome.
What's up, man? It's good to see you. Glad to be back in the apartment.
Yes, dude, and recording live, man.
Yeah, this is wild. It was
last time we had like states across us.
Yeah, many states.
But dude, it's good to be talking with you again and to be down here at BizCon. What are you excited for the most this week?
Oh, man. Honestly, connecting with people who I haven't seen in a while is going to be great. Honestly, having those conversations, kind of what we've been doing here today, honestly. Just like things that come up.
Just being able to talk shop a little bit more naturally, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And like, you typically are doing things over Google Meets or Zooms, and it's like this very structured form of conversation where it's like, I've got 15 minutes and we're going to talk about a topic. And it's like,
True.
I kind of want to...
True. There's an agenda here.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about kendamas.
Yeah. Yeah, man. For those listening, I have a skill toy addiction, and my latest favorite is the kendama.
So dope.
Look forward to more kendama content coming to Apartment 113.
Yeah, man. You need to start posting shorts or reels or something. He's hitting these tricks that are insane.
Landed some. Yeah, man. So what have you been up to since we last talked, man? Digging into the industry side of things.
Yeah. So was previously working in data analytics, market research, and kind of just left that situation and have been writing for the past 2 years or so. Started a little bit in college, but Fat Nugs was honestly kind of like the resurgence of my writing.
Yeah, and ILGM, have you been pulling any articles for them recently?
So I've been doing some email marketing projects with them, but not as many of the cultivation articles.
Okay.
But I talked to Herb the other day, so
yeah, you're moving over into some marketing stuff there a little bit.
Yeah, and like
cool.
The content stuff is dope, right? I have thoroughly enjoyed all the different roles that I've worked in the industry, and like kind of what we were talking about with sports earlier. Rob said he did a wide variety of sports in high school, and that gives you this knowledge base to pull from of different things, you know?
Right. You've worn the hats before.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you've done those things, you can have the conversation or use that knowledge to go a little bit further.
And that's the thing, right? I know from a sell side what a lot of these businesses are like trying to get across, and from a consumer side, I also know what people are looking for on different things.
Right. Yeah, man. And that's the key. I think there's a lot of businesses that maybe lose sight of what the consumer is actually wanting. You know, the business is focused on like their objectives, like making the bottom line, scaling, entering the next state.
Exactly.
And there's still real folks that are buying these products and are supposed to enjoy them.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day. Yeah.
And it's like it's a crazy obvious feedback loop that's like brain dead, stupid simple, It's like, why not listen to what our customers want,
Dude,
bake that into our product?
It's a deepity, right?
And they'll want it more.
Yeah, it's like sounds very simple on face value, like listen to what they say, but then as soon as you dig in, complexities. Because then now, okay, you have 100 people told you what they want. How do you decide which one to do?
what's the most important.
Yeah, and then what's the opportunity cost of not doing something that someone wants? It introduces a new problem, but I agree, man. There's a need to listen.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of what we were talking about, where it's like, if you start on a nice general base and, are building slow and with intention,
Right.
there's so much more that comes with it.
Right. Yeah, I think that kind of methodical approach to scaling keeps you true to your value, true to your core. And I've seen, like, when businesses scale too fast or when they acquire, they end up buying, like, out of their lane, thinking they were ready,
Yeah,
and sometimes you're not ready. Sometimes, sure, you are, man. And if you're listening to us now and you're ready to acquire, I guess don't be afraid, but, man, know your shit, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, thank you, man.
Cheers. We just got a joint donated to the table.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
we once it gets to a point where a company is scaling and people become numbers or demographics, you've zoomed out a little far too much, or at least in the point where you're looking at, like, world domination or
yeah, it is getting like eye in the sky like that, isn't it, man? You start seeing all the numbers and
but there's value
start
to
making
those things,
because you do need to make decisions off that, and you can make a better product with those numbers.
Absolutely.
That's the dangerous thing, right?
But
with
it's
great
good
power
to
comes
do
great
that.
responsibility.
Exactly. But you just need to have a human element involved, and kind of like you said, right? If I'm not going to say any specific company lanes because I don't want to. But
right,
like, if
right.
I choose to acquire a company in the lighting space and I'm doing packaging, what are you doing? Like, you're just trying to make a giant company
right.
with a
Just
bloated
because you
valuation?
thought it was a good buy, and that's the issue, though. Too. Some people are in it just to turn. They're just turning a business, like flipping a house.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's definitely ongoing. I'm sure a lot of that's going on here too this week, man. A lot of people come down to BizCon to connect. I think that they moved the convention out to the old center that it was before, so it's not in the double layers that it was last year. But we had 2 floors last year at BizCon of booths, and I actually didn't even make it to the back of it. It was so huge, and people are saying this year's is bigger. So I don't know how the industry continues to get that way, man. It's insane. You were already in there setting up a booth?
Yeah. One of my clients, a SurePack, shout out to a SurePack, great packaging.
Hey.
They got me out here and I helped them set up their booth, and I walked the floor and oh my god, it's expansive.
Endless,
man.
huh?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And end to end, right? And people with forklifts are driving around like mad trying to deliver supplies because you have companies from every end of the industry here.
The setup day is crazy there. As they're, like, lifting those giant signs up into the ceiling. I mean, like,
hanging them and everything.
Yeah, for folks who haven't seen it, I mean, imagine the convention center near whichever city you're at and, like, quadruple that and fill it with cannabis businesses. It's truly like becoming a cannabis mecca, and it's sort of like a cannabis industry takeover, I think, on the Strip for, like, this whole week, honestly.
I totally agree.
Even the weekend after, it's slowly stretching. Eventually, it's going to be like the BizCon month, you know, the Vegas month for cannabis.
which is interesting, right? Like, the BizCon has always made the choice to be in Vegas. So, but you kind of have these different conventions that have expanded out to other states or jumping locations. I remember at one point they had a BizCon that was going on in New Orleans.
Really?
Which probably, like, that might be like 6-ish years ago or something like that they did in New Orleans.
Right, so they kind of focused down and made their vibe is like the Vegas appeal.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Definitely being at the end of the year, it presents that kind of like that kind of feeling too. Like, you can come here at the end, celebrate with your company, like advertise something you've been building all year, like learn about what everyone else has been doing.
Absolutely.
And kind of enter the holiday season and the next year understanding, like, the industry, or like getting a good feel for the pace of things, like what's out there, you know?
Absolutely. And, like, leaning into connections that you made. Like, we talked a bunch about the things that we're working on, and, like, now
it's
there's
a good
understanding
time to
that
open up
there's-
and chill.
Yeah, exactly. You relax, you talk about kind of what the future holds, and, you know, things generally outside of work, because, you know, us cannabis people tend to be workaholics in a lot of ways.
Yeah, dude, it's wild how you don't realize it, I think, how many projects you can get going on the cannabis space, and then suddenly you take a step back and it's like, oh, wow, it's time for a weekend, you know? It's time to actually, what do I do when I just have a weekend?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta sit.
What is chilling, which is, like, the most ironic thing I think that can exist about our industry, since people tend to associate weed with the chill, you know?
Yeah, to have, like, such an industry of grinders and, like, kind of like constant, like, pushers and, you know, folks that are trying to create. It's
Yeah, exactly.
comes with the cannabis as well, I think. encouraging people to keep innovating and solving problems. Are there any other events you're going to this week that you're excited for?
I'll tell you what, man. I did not honestly make any plans to. I've been one of the micro obsessions that I've had as a barista is poker. So I'm going to probably play a bit of poker on the strip, but...
When in Rome.
Yeah, exactly, right? But I was interested in the Polka Dot event because they have a giant booth here, and, you know, not to put anybody on blast, but, like, I remember when they were trap chocolates, you know what I mean? Like,
so they've gone above the board with muscaria. Is it with legal mushrooms then?
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking, at least.
They're just getting ready to be able to commoditize and make CPGs as soon as psilocybin hits.
And they have been.
The microdose market is going to be wild on that side.
Dustin. Tried.
We got folks playing pickleball here. Tournament's gotten started, and we're sitting on the what will soon be sunny rooftop of the Plaza Hotel, just kind of looking off over the strip. But
I've never seen pickleball before, so this is a...
it's an eye-opener for sure.
Oh, my gosh. I've never
the whole tournament.
In this.
Yeah, for those...
Ask him how his team is doing.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
We're talking about it now.
We just got our ace player here. We're bringing him on. You winning? 4-0. Oh, 4-0. Dude, quick reviews bringing home the gold.
Quick reviews
nice
crushing
job,
right
Craig.
now. Where's Fat Nugs at, Dustin?
What up, yo?
Where's Fat Nugs at?
Oh, we're 0-2.
All right, we got
0-2,
Fat Nugs at
let's
0-2.
To be 0-3.
They're getting started.
go.
They're getting started a little slower, but they're going to be there.
This is our first time.
Dustin's taking the smoke break in the middle of this.
Yeah, we're just here to basically keep everyone medicated, keep it moving.
This is the bat they gave me. I'm trying to figure it out.
I love it. I love it. How many matches are going on right now? 8?
Yeah, exactly. At least.
It's honestly incredible.
It's a full-on bracketed tournament. Yeah, it's going strong. The winner gets $500 and the bragging rights, of course.
What greater bragging rights exist than
For
being the
first
Cannabis
golden
pickleball?
paddle. Yes, for real. No, I'm looking forward to seeing the convention here after this and walking the booths. It's always like kind of a reunion moment, just like walking through, seeing folks. And I love that like every year, like more people, like I see them and it's like, oh, it's this guy again, you know? It's like, dude, I remember doing business with you last year, or where we were on like remote teams one time. It's crazy to see you in person, you know?
There's
It's
a lot of
always wild.
cross-pollination that exists in our
Yeah.
day-to-day, and then like you get the in-person aspect because so much is remote now, you know?
Right. I think that's it's important. I think it breathes like a little bit of energy into what I'm normally doing because of how remote I am. Like typically, I'm kind of removed from the space, like doing software things, recording the podcast. It's good to get like on the ground and like really feel the vibes again of the community.
Yeah,
you know, of
absolutely.
everyone around.
And it's cool because, you know, BizCon has always been a way for me to kind of see things that I didn't even frankly know existed as like sectors or verticals in our industry.
True, right. You're seeing kind of how everyone's leaning into it. It's like it takes a village, man.
Yeah, I first learned about like botanical terpene extraction from a BizCon because I was just, you know, I knew cannabis and hemp derived terpenes, but like
how people were actually getting all the terps that they're adding to things, man. Yeah. That's unreal. I'm looking forward to reading that big book of terps. I've been seeing that volume 2 getting kicked around. I think it's Ross Hudson. Sorry, buddy. I'll get you on the show soon.
I think that is around what his name is.
Shout out to the big book of terps,
True.
pushing the goodness and the glory of terpenes, right?
Absolutely.
The
man.
knowledge there.
And that's something that like as time has gone, I've been gradually trying to build a better knowledge base around because
the market's slowly picking up on it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm really spoiled by Nevada with the top 3 terps on all the labels. It almost gives you a cheat code and kind of like an entry.
Yeah.
Like, all right, you're in it already. You can see this is 5 milligrams per gram of myrcene. So how does that differ from 10?
And
From
you
2,
have the ganja perspective layering on top of that, right? So you've got the scoring system that you're incorporating, different aspects of the bud you're looking through.
That part's been really fun to look at things like that and try to rate and review. To be honest, I think I'm too critical. But it's probably good,
That's
you know?
good,
It's
man.
good to
That's
be critical
good.
and not have like a lot of bangers or like churning out a lot of hundreds and like high 90s.
Well, because it's one of those things where like if the same with film, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of hard-nosed film or food critics who.
It's hard to impress them, man. It's hard to like
Exactly.
raise an eyebrow from them,
And
right?
it's aggravating to 95% of people probably who are participating because it's like, give me some leeway. But like,
Yeah.
there's people who want that perfection, you know?
Yeah, man, they want to actually hold that bar or try to find that level of connoisseurship, and I think that there's a level of that to be found along like any price bracket. That's the whole distinction in cannabis connoisseurship that I think is hard to get across. That you can find quality in like a lower price tiers, just like you can find quality in the top shelf. You don't necessarily have to start like breaking out the wallet and like, shelling it out to find your like highest terpene quantity.
Not all good eighths cost $65
Yeah,
or $55. Don't buy the hype.
And on the concentrate side, man, in Vegas, I saw an $80 gram for some sugar or something here in the city. It's rough, dude.
Oh my gosh, it's tax, man. It's crazy. I don't know. I get it.
Folks
but
are
I
raking
don't
it
get
in.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. There's some places, and there's some things where like market conditions are dictating what's going on, right? Missouri was a perfect example. It was over or undersupplied out the wazoo, man. Like dispensaries were buying shit before
Yeah.
it even got to flower. It was.
Dude,
people
and
were
there was a
selling out.
big old like conspiracy with some out-of-state oil that was worked into the system and distilled through products. And, like maybe a few $1 million of products had to be recalled because of it.
I did see the
Basically,
recall.
supply
I didn't know
chain
that's what it
issues.
was. Whoa.
Yeah, where I don't know if it's actually been proven or found out for sure, but the rumor is there's like some out-of-state oil that was brought into the supply chain, like somehow non-compliantly, right? They
they
worked it
figure
into a
that out?
metric package, or somehow it got
Okay.
added in. I don't know how.
Metric magicians, man. They exist.
Oh God, that's not what you want.
It's true. That's crazy. I didn't know that was the cause of it, though.
Yeah, I think they got it straightened out, but I did see some news that their sales are declining in Missouri now. So maybe
Yeah.
like some of that initial boom of people that were like, cannabis is here, I've been waiting this whole time. They're driving over the border from Kansas, and that's some of that's kind of leaning out, but it could be supply chain related in general if the sales are down.
And it's like I was talking to a client about it, where you get to such a point on that kind of initial hype train where, you still have decently high medical participation, but a huge surge comes in from recreational, and like
Right.
people keep going and keep going, and then at some point you have customers who are like, the initial hype of it wears off, or you have some people who are kind of changing how they buy or how they consume, and like things flatten out, prices drop, competition enters, and like
Yeah.
you can only have those undersupplied, over-demanded moments for so long
They're
before
peaks.
people try to hop on, grow
Right.
as much weed
Or
as
they start growing in
possible.
their house, man, right?
Home grows.
The home grow laws in Missouri are great too, I think, so I'm sure the market there is going to be picking up. What's up, everybody? We're back again, and this time we're here with Shannon Lyon, who is an operations coordinator from New Jersey. Shannon, man, welcome.
Hey,
Welcome
Rob.
to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm like excited to do this. It's pretty dope.
Definitely, yeah. Just chilling at the Golden Paddle tournament, kind of talking to folks nearby, and arranging future episodes. Might as well have a little introduction now and kind of learn about what you've been up to in New Jersey, or a little about your cannabis journey so far. How'd you get to BizCon, right?
Well, the way I got to BizCon's kind of interesting. I like talked my way into it and created my own path to get here. I met someone and said we should do this, and it just evolved into like, let me go here.
Nice.
And because it could be long-winded. I'm good at long-winded. My ADD gets in the way. But to keep it simple, like I created an interesting little path for myself and just kind of did the thing.
So you're working with a dispensary or a full vertical operation in New Jersey?
Right now, I am helping do some education classes, and I'm working with Heady and Jay to help build community and start doing community-based content and people that are helping create a cannabis culture and all the different facets in New Jersey. So not just focusing on the business regs and legislation and the day-to-day ins and outs of running cannabis businesses, because the average consumer isn't necessarily interested in the politics of the business.
Yes.
They just want to know
Yes.
like
They
who's
need
growing
to
for
understand
them.
what
Yeah.
they're after, right? I like that
Exactly.
educational approach a lot. There's definitely a need for educating consumers, and that's the only way that there can be more consumers, for folks to approach cannabis if they still have some stigma or if they've just never tried it before. It can be overwhelming, right? Drinking from a fire hose.
Exactly. A friend of mine runs an education company called Elucidation Strategies, and we just did a cannabis community education program in Cherry Hill, New Jersey at the public library.
Oh,
and,
cool.
it was a
Yeah.
respectable turnout, maybe 15, 20 more seniors. So people who are really curious, but also very trepidatious and scared because of the negative connotations. They're afraid they're just
Right.
going to get high and not well.
I kind of want to understand the nuances there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the library approach is a great way to keep it public too, and kind of like low pressure. You know, you don't need to commit. No one's going to judge you for going to the library.
No, the library is a safe space. And like when you have safe spaces like that in the community, embrace cannabis and want to promote education, that's helpful. And like that's a
Yeah.
great place to start.
Can you believe that we have education courses in public libraries now? Would you have thought that?
I never even thought that I'd be sitting here in Las Vegas playing pickleball at a unique networking event, like
It's
because
all
of cannabis.
right. It's definitely unreal how fast the industry grows and how much networking and like different kind of connections can catalyze things.
And this is a very easy group of people to network with.
Yeah, the tournament's been great so far. It's a good turnout. I think the first round of games is over, it sounds like.
Yeah,
We'll see,
I think so.
We'll see who's going to win.
Yeah, Puff Creative and their Creative Cloud. I know they partnered with Wax Snacks and Polar Gold Extracts
Yes.
on this one, so they're really doing some dope shit.
Right, yep. Bringing the sponsorships through. Well, thank you, Shannon, for jumping on the show.
Yeah.
And I think we should definitely get a full episode set here in the future to hear your story and kind of
All right,
learn about
cool.
your cannabis past. Before you go, how about your first cannabis experience?
Oh man, I was like 16 and my friend's brother pulled out a gigantic bong for us to smoke. It was like 3 feet tall.
You had the 3-footer, huh?
Yeah, and that was the first time.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. We're back here with Dustin, and I'm looking for the lighter that was already in my left hand. We've got Dustin Hoxworth here, editor-at-large for Fat Nugs magazine.
Hello, hello.
Getting things kicked off well. You know, looking for lighters already by 10:30 a.m. here on day one of BizCon. How's it going today, man?
Good, dude. We just got our asses kicked in pickleball. Actually, we went 2-2, so it wasn't too bad. That was our first time ever on a court.
Pickleball is an art, huh?
It's not easy, dude. I'll tell you what. It's basically big paddle or big ping pong. It's not like
like you're
tennis.
standing on the table
Bingo.
playing ping pong.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yeah, it's not easy, dude.
For real, and there's some pros here, man. Golden Paddle Showdown, it brought out some folks ready to play.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
real. There's a dude here from Italy, and he's a professional playing.
Yeah, dude, they've got background.
Yeah, dude.
And
He's over there ripping the ball and shit.
that is not what I expected.
No.
So for those who are coming next year to the Golden Paddle Showdown, start practicing.
Yeah,
Like
right now.
now is the time.
Good
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah, we've got some 4-0 teams already after the first bracket. What did you guys finish?
2-2.
2-2. That's good, man. Hey, is it
And
gonna
we've never played before. We've never even stepped on a pickleball.
a new
court.
passion for you? I can see it.
If I
budding.
was 10 years younger, maybe.
Nice.
But tomorrow I'll wake up sore.
Let it be. Yeah,
Unfortunately.
it's still a lot of pivoting,
Yeah.
a lot of fast changes.
Yeah, and I'm just old, dude.
Dude, so congratulations on the music edition releasing this week. I've had 3 cases of the magazine in the garage.
Yes, you have,
Or
thankfully.
8 cases in the garage, and I haven't opened them up yet, so it's awesome to flip through it today. And
Oh, you hadn't
really
opened
see
it
the
yet?
mag. No, I was
Oh,
waiting on it to
dude.
see, and it was like a Christmas morning, seeing them hit the table.
That's fucking dope, dude.
It turned out great, man.
Yep, and your piece is in there as well.
Yes,
Insane.
yeah. Shout out to Cypress Hill, man, keeping it insane and contributing to the cannabis industry. It's wild what they've really done for cannabis and kind of how early they were in some of the hip-hop support with cannabis.
100%. They are some of the OGs in the space, right?
Yeah, the story's so weird that, like, they basically just chose to dedicate themselves more to cannabis to stand out.
Yeah,
at
and
a
you
time.
told me that story. I
Yeah,
didn't even know
it's-
that story. Tell me a little bit more about that, actually. That's pretty cool.
Essentially, they were trying to get their mixtapes sold, and they were great already and banging, but they didn't have a theme, or they didn't have like a something unique about them.
Yep.
So they came back and tried to like look at what everyone's thing was at the time. You know, like some groups were like really gangster, really street, or others were like really pretty and romantic, and they just chose cannabis, man, and buckled down.
Yep, and it worked.
Yeah.
Didn't you tell me something about them? They were at a show or something, and what was it? That
Like first to smoke up in like Wichita, Kansas, or like Augusta, Kansas, like places you would never imagine lighting up on stage in the early 90s.
And they were threatened and or arrested for doing so, right?
Yeah, they would think it was constant struggle there, and I mean they're seeing the profits now. I mean, Be Real has got brands in California.
Yeah.
They're part of everything right in the space. So
Yep.
it's crazy to see that thread.
We've written about them a couple times. They probably don't even know. But that's
Shout out to Cypress Hill, man. Come on to Fat Nugs.
Yeah, love that.
Now's the time.
Honestly, that's sort of how media should work. You write about the things that you love, the things that you're passionate about, the things you know, the things that you listened to when you were growing up, that kind of stuff. And it's cool to be able to write about that. We don't have to have permission. I don't have to, reach out to anyone. I can just tell stories, right?
Right.
And that's the cool thing about Fat Nugs. That's what we do. We tell stories through authentic journalism. We write about the things that we love and that we're passionate about. And then, the badass art comes into play as well. So
yeah, bring it all together at the end with some really nice art.
Something cool to look at.
For real, man. Yeah. And, what else has been cooking for Fat Nugs, dude? We went on a little trip here recently.
We did. We went to Jamaica.
Sunny Jamaica. A whole bunch coming out of that in the next issue.
Yep. Coral Cove. So, in the January, February edition, some point, probably release it mid to late February, the Health and Wellness edition. And we'll tell all about Coral Cove and what we did, our experience, what it was like down there, what we experienced.
Yeah, man. It was
that place was
great time, dude.
Fucking really cool, dude.
Yeah, I still remember this, like the scuba diving, or not scuba, but just snorkeling through that, man, and seeing some of the sea out there is wild.
And it's not. It's cool to be like you're on top of the coral the entire time you're out there. It's called Coral Cove, right? For a fucking reason. So
it is rich.
Yeah,
and a little awkward to get out of there because of that coral.
It is. You have to be very careful. It's sharp. It hurts.
Yeah, and you want to treat it. You want to treat it nicely.
100%.
It was a hell of a trip, man. Looking forward to chatting more about that and writing about it as well.
Yeah, and I think everyone on the team has at least one or two pieces that we'll all throw together into more than likely at least a 10-page spread that'll be in the Health and Wellness edition.
Full-on Coral Cove goodness. Yeah,
Yes.
I'd love to get back there already.
We will.
It's already been I know it's been just a few weeks, but it's like, man, wouldn't a week down there be good?
Oh, dude.
Just chill again.
I could just take a laptop and really work from there, right
just
now.
Post up.
I could.
Relax. Yep.
And unless someone orders a magazine, then I'm fucked.
Fat Nugs Central Office may or may not be moving.
Exactly. Actually, that, some of the ideas that have come up about integrating Fat Nugs magazine into Coral Cove more, obviously having magazines in all of the rooms and all of that kind of stuff, but I think it's
That'd be
more
awesome.
of us being sort of a media partner with them and them bringing us down once a quarter, once every 6 months or something, writing a piece or two, doing something new, helping them out, push through socials, all of that kind of stuff, publish things for them on behalf of them, and do it because we want to just be there and experience it,
Right.
not trying to earn cash off of them. I literally want to help them push because
it was like it's a good organization, right? A good business with a good intent.
really good people.
founders.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. And they do really great things in the community. They obviously employ the community.
Right.
But it's more really the essence of why I want to be integrated into Coral Cove is because normalization happens more and better when it's integrated into the things that we love to do as humans. Most of us love to travel to somewhere fucking beautiful, right?
Hard to argue with that.
And when you have a chance to be somewhere really pretty and nice and on the coast, and you get to do yoga by the ocean and get a massage by the ocean and wake up with joints in your room and people offering you mushrooms and
a little bit of mushroom tea to see the sunset through.
Exactly, dude. All of that kind of stuff. So basically the entire place is based on normalizing plant medicine 100% first, and then it's everything else. So you wake up in the morning, you got your joints, you have breakfast with your friends or who you went with, you have your mushrooms, you go about doing your sound bath and your yoga. All of those things are based on your consumption, basically, whether or not you would like to trip and do those things, whether or not you would like to smoke a joint while you're doing yoga, which we did, which we also, right. I ate mushrooms and tripped before I did yoga in the morning. Well,
there was a certain freedom, right, to really choose your own adventure.
That's
kind of
it.
A summer camp vibe.
You nailed it. And it's a summer camp, and it's that normalization is just exactly what you said. It's something. So it's something I've never experienced. So it's hard to put into words.
Yeah, man.
But when you feel as though you are at home and you're welcome. So as someone who smokes consistently every day, several times a day, I don't want to travel to places that I have to hide.
That can
I
be
don't want to
difficult,
just
right?
have a fucking pen.
As soon as you land, you're either ripping that 510 thread.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
you're just looking for like a little alcove hideout in.
Yeah, something to take the edge off, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to do that in a place like this. Everything is based on, as a matter of fact, when they pick you up from the fucking airport, there's a bag of joints waiting for you and your
Smoking
crew.
on the van ride down.
Exactly,
man.
dude.
Yeah.
And they have, and of course, drinks, if you want a beer or water or, whatever the case may be. So when they pick you up, it starts. So the normalization of smoking weed, enjoying cannabis, consuming is immediate
Yeah.
the moment that you step off the plane and you get into Jamaica. And that is something that does not exist anywhere else. Anywhere else.
Right, like how prevalent it was in the culture and just totally accepted. It wasn't even.
There was no question.
Yeah, no.
It was like, this is water,
right.
And
we stopped by, fruit stands on the way. The whole van smoking up.
Yep.
No one was taken aback by that.
Yeah, we opened up the van and there's just a pile of smoke, and everybody looks at us like, yeah, it's no big deal, it's all good.
Typical
What
Jamaican
you need?
tourists here.
Yeah, exactly. And then not only the fruit stand, but then we stopped on the way and had jerk chicken at just a shack
Oh,
on the side of the
man.
road.
I wanted that chicken again on the way out. Unfortunately, we did not have time.
No, we did not.
It was tasty though.
It was cool, but it's cool to do that stuff, dude. And it's it's an authentic Jamaican experience. It's not one of the 5-star resorts that you're in the resort area and you're getting.
Yeah, I think that was key to it, man. It wasn't treated like that. It was like, hey, man, this is Jamaica.
Yeah.
Like, we're still taking care of you. We're gonna, feed you and like help take you to the sites. But
Yep.
we're showing you some of the country, that you could not really find.
And
at a
speaking of,
resort. You couldn't get to on your own, really.
Yep, 100%. And speaking of showing us things like the countryside, so we hiked up Waba's farm.
Yes,
On the
man.
side of a mountain, right? Or on the
Right.
top of a mountain.
To an outdoor Rastafarian cannabis grow. It had been in his family for generations.
Yep.
It's crazy to be on the property and kind of
Yep.
see what he's been building, man.
Sort of cool to see old school still
Yeah.
reigning supreme, so to speak. You know what I
Definitely.
mean?
It was like it's been done that way for decades.
And this is how we'll continue to do it.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's where we also got introduced to the Idle Steam Chalice.
Yes, the steam chalice making its way. That is awesome, man. And have you put the steam chalice to any work yet?
No,
Since
but we
we're
have
in
it with us this week.
Hell yeah, man.
Yes.
Might as well light it up for BizCon, right?
We
it's
will.
a great time to pass it through.
You're not allowed to smoke it by itself, right? You have to have a
Yes,
group.
there are some. For those who don't know, there are some regulations around the chalice.
Yes.
You want to be in a group of folks. You want to have a master of ceremony who's kind of calling the shots. The master of ceremony can decide if the chalice skips or moves around freely.
Yep.
Other than that, it moves to the left.
Yep.
With a puff pass vibe.
Yep.
And it's definitely a little more ceremony to it, a little more
is.
ritual. I think with certain folks, like with the Rastafarian sect, there's a lot more ritual to it, giving praise and thanks as the chalice passes.
Yep.
But I think that the community vibe that it embraced, as well as the beautiful terpene-rich taste.
Ooh, man, I've
is,
never
something
tasted
special.
never tasted weed like that ever. I'm
Yeah.
not kidding. I've smoking for 30 whatever years at this point and never.
It's essentially a natural product, so it's made with a coconut shell and like bamboo sticks, but
Yep.
it heats up the flower with charcoal, with coconut core or coconut coal, and allows it to vaporize like massive amounts of fresh.
It's the
flower.
original vaporizer.
Yeah, man, it's the volcano of the forest, man. Yeah, of the
and
hills.
so I'd never even heard of it, and to be able to sit there for 8 rounds.
Oh, we were chiefing it.
Yeah, dude, it was really fucking cool.
So what are you excited for most here for the... yeah, definitely. Yeah. So what are you excited for the most here for BizCon?
It's a good question. So we've got a lot going on. This is the first time. So last year at this time, we just released the very first edition, the very first print edition. I'm sorry. We were for a year prior to that, or for almost the entire year. Prior to that, we were just digital. So
this is kind of like a reunion a little bit.
Sort
like
of.
kind of coming back full
and
circle to
it's,
prove
you know,
and show.
double if not tripled in size. We now have 6 print editions, working on our 7th. We are an official MJBiz publication partner, if you want to say that. We're in the publication racks.
I saw the picture today.
Yeah,
that
pretty
rack
dope.
was awesome.
Pretty dope. Yeah, I'm assuming,
That's an upgrade.
and I haven't been over to the expo yet. I'm assuming that they're gone.
Hopefully, man.
I would
Yeah.
assume that they're gone,
In
dude.
good hands.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the point, though.
People have gotten enough cannabis business and tech. No offense out to the other magazines and publications. Obviously, there's a need for all that.
Yeah.
But there is a need for community and passion, and that's
Yeah.
I think what Fat Nugs is adding to the stack out there. That's
Yeah.
awesome to see.
Absolutely, and this is our. I mean, the publications that are with us in the publication racks are run by great people. They have great things. They do their thing. But this is the first time I've ever had a chance to be in a publication rack ever of any sort, and to be next to all of those that have been around for a minute is cool. You know, being the
Yes.
new kid on the block every once in a while
Yeah.
is kind of cool, and I'm enjoying it right now, because if you look at all of the publications side by side, you definitely see the flavor. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, man! You can see it's just dripping. It's dripping like color and passion, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you've got that
And
kind
then
of
you open it.
standard vibe for magazines, especially in the cannabis space. Often you get a founder, a creator. There's like a suited photo shoot in front of their business. Fat Nugs has taken a different approach.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see throughout the whole magazine, and especially we got our full spread
Yep.
in the music edition.
The
this
first
time
ever
around.
centerfold,
Yes, sir.
which was huge. That was a big deal for me, because I was keeping it quiet until absolutely very last minute. The team didn't even know until maybe 2 weeks before we decided to do it.
Oh, nice.
I had been thinking about this for probably 6 months, and when I had the chance, because I knew I had the budget, finally making some headway with advertisers. They understand what we're here doing. Being able to bring new eyeballs, new ears, that kind of stuff, doing it our way, doing media blitzes that no one else does, all of that kind of stuff. People started to pick up on it. So our music edition was really our first one where the entire team actually made a little bit of money. Some of our writers actually got paid. Some of our other writers got to go to Jamaica,
Right,
that kind of
right.
stuff. So, there were things that about this music edition that it's the first one that's kind of whole. Everything came sort of full circle, and it
Yeah.
allowed me to have a budget to actually pull off a centerfold, because that shit's expensive.
Right.
But
yeah.
it's dope. It's nice.
dude.
It's something cool to do. No one else is doing centerfolds at this point. I think the last centerfold that I saw was probably 4 or 5 years ago from Grow Magazine. Shout out to Grow Magazine, by the way. I love
Yeah.
Kelly over there and what they do.
Grows putting out some good photography in there too.
Yo, oh,
really
fuck
good,
yeah.
like indoor cultivation stuff.
Oh, yeah, dude. And they've got good people over there doing some really cool shit. As a matter of
But they moved away from the centerfold.
Yeah, they moved it well, and we actually talked about that. I talked to Kelly yesterday about the centerfold, and he was like, "Man, it's expensive. It's not easy to do. Just the communication alone with the printer is a pain in the ass."
Yeah.
And
A lot more can go wrong there.
oh, dude, there's all kinds of fucking just all the inner workings. If everything's not fucking perfect, it really does show, and it
Yeah.
causes sort of a domino effect of issue after issue after issue. So if you don't have everything sort of in place, ready to go, pull the trigger, and everything works properly, doing a centerfold is not a good idea.
Wait on it.
Yeah, just wait. And I had
awesome to see it turn out.
and not to call out anybody on the team, but I had some folks on the team kind of question whether or not we should do it, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. This is
Had to push this one
this
through,
is
man.
the one
Follow the
that I'm
vision.
doing it. This is it. Which actually drove the post a couple of weeks ago. It said, the person who says it can't be done shouldn't stand in the way, or should get out of the way of the person who's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of that centerfold sort of.
You gotta. Sometimes you see what you want, man.
Yeah.
You just gotta grind it out
And
there
go.
or shape it.
100%.
Yeah.
I didn't give a fuck. At that point, I was like, I'll pull out my credit card. I got to do whatever I got to do
Try to make it
to
work.
get it done right.
Yeah.
Even though I knew we didn't quite have everything ready and in its place. We were close enough, and if I needed some extra backup, I would do what I had to do to get it done. So
For sure.
it was important for me to do that.
Right, and with the magazine in the racks, you guys are sponsoring a few events for the week as
Yes.
well. What's on the sponsorship round?
Yeah, so this one here, the pickleball, the Golden Paddle
Shout
Showdown.
out to Polar Gold Extracts, Ascarium,
100%.
Grow House Media, all
Yep.
the good folks here at the Golden Paddle.
Brian for pulling this together. He did a fucking excellent job. This is one of the cooler things I've done in Vegas, to be honest with you. Being outside, playing sports basically and smoking
Just chilling
weed
on the
and
rooftops.
Yeah, it's fucking dope, dude. It's cool to do something different with these people because normally we see them in business settings or
It can get very rigid
yeah.
and kind of tired.
Yeah. Well, and it gives us something else to talk about too, right? I mean, it's not about business. We're not talking about advertising. We're not talking about numbers. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're just out here fucking enjoying
There's
ourselves.
like implicit networking and,
Yes.
and connections and
Yes.
things that come of that, of course, but it's like not front and center, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think you just through the playing and the interactions, that networking is super important, right? Because those are the
Yeah.
type. Do I want to hang out with this dude? That's the type of person I want to do business with, right?
Right.
So it's a perfect fucking a perfect way to do that.
To kind of gauge the situation, meet
Yeah.
new folks.
And you don't have to take yourself so seriously. I'm out there running around, falling down, chasing balls, right? I'm 48 years old. I'm out there laughing at myself.
Yeah, man.
So it's fun, dude.
That's a good way to do it, and not many conferences have events like this. I hope that it becomes more of a thing to kind of get people off the floor a little bit.
Something different.
Next year, I'm trying to arrange like a hike. Come into the strip. We're gonna rent like a party van and go out with Apartment 113 to like Valley of Fire,
That'd be
Red
dope.
Rocks, something.
Oh, dude, that'd be so cool.
Just like take a group out through that. I think there's so much to do out here outside of the strip too.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to lean into that with some of the community and like
I would love to do that.
do
I'm
that kind of stuff.
I hike a lot, so that's right up my alley. As a matter of
there's
fact, my
plenty to
best friend
see.
that's with us as well, Bird, he and I travel and hike as much as we can. So
Yeah, nice man. And on the event side, I
yes,
saw
let me
you
keep telling
got-
you the events. Sorry about that.
You
So,
got two more, right? This week?
yeah. So
Blunt Brunch was
Blunt Brunch
yesterday?
was yesterday, right? We did stop by, dropped off some magazines. Excuse me, amazing group of women over there. Ran to the Beard Brothers.
Ooh, someone handed us a fatty.
Yeah,
Rolled this
getting
one up.
my ass kicked. Yeah. So, yeah, Blunt Brunch was dope. And then this Golden Paddle Showdown. And then later this evening, we have the Sapphire Risk Underground Party, which is cool. This was the first time we were ever asked to be a media partner for a party of any sort. And honestly, I felt honored, and I didn't really care what the party was. I just wanted to be included and have a chance to spread the magazine around more.
Right.
Have a chance to talk to some new people in a sort of a side of the industry that we don't dabble in much, right? So Sapphire Risk, it's insurance,
Yeah,
right?
man.
I'm sorry, it's security. I'm sorry, they do security for the cannabis industry, and it's not very often that at Fat Nugs we talk to security experts, right?
And it takes all those ancillary businesses for the space, so it's good to
Yep.
connect there and,
Yep.
and kind of see those connections too and like the potential.
Yeah, and you're bringing
Yeah.
together the business and culture side, the community side of things this way by doing it.
For real,
You
right?
know?
Kind of bringing things full circle.
Absolutely, it's a different way of doing it.
And contributing to this wild slew of after parties. It's insane, man. I mean, you make it easy for me. I'm going to the Fat Nugs party tonight.
Hell yeah.
So I already know what's up.
Hell yeah.
But other than that, man, if there's like 7 different events, I think, running from
Oh, God,
like
at least.
6 p.m. to midnight tonight.
Grasslands.
If you were,
Uh,
if in my younger days, perhaps, I would maybe challenge a few of those hops.
Yeah.
Try to make it to 3 or so.
I would.
But I don't-
in my 20s, even in my early 30s, I would probably hit as many of them as I can
Yeah,
or could. Tonight, I'll be sitting my ass in one spot. and
Unfortunately, I got 6:30 a.m. work in the morning, so
Ooh.
I'll be like
Ouch.
cutting out at 9.
Ouch, that hurts.
BizCon making it interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And we haven't even been to the expo yet, so I need to get my ass up and
Oh,
get
that
there
shit-
as well.
It's going to be crazy. So many booths to walk.
Yeah.
If it's anything like last year, I barely made it through the conference.
Oh, dude, I made it maybe to half of the very first bottom floor, half of that floor.
Unreal.
Yeah, I'm not kidding, because it was just talking to everyone, and it was the first time that we released our, an edition, our print edition, and then at that time I was doing I had another business venture going with a couple of dudes, so we were kind of
Moving and
butterflies.
shaking.
Yeah.
For real, man. And then MJ's, right?
Oh shit, forgot about that.
Hell yeah.
So on Thursday night, so we were asked a guest about a week ago. The MJs came to us, and this was interesting because I'm not an awards dude. I was someone with the way that I grew up. I was kind of picked last at things. I was always the small guy, So I have sort of that chip or that underdog kind of thing that I do. So award shows and top of lists and all that kind of stuff, they bother me at times. They really fucking do. Because I've never been included. I've never been good enough. I've never been cool enough,
see that. Yeah.
And so the MJs were something that I saw, and I was like, oh, that's dope. But we'll get snubbed. No one gives a shit, that kind of stuff. And I kind of just put it off to the side. I knew it was there, but I was busy with doing all this other stuff,
Grinded,
right?
Man. Yeah.
And I was doing the music edition, so I wasn't really paying a whole lot of attention. About a week ago, they reached out and like, hey, we'd love to have you guys come and cover it. And I was like,
that's awesome.
I appreciate that,
it's
dude.
Be a hell of an
Thank
event.
you.
Right.
Yeah, it's something different. Again, sort of an elevated, I guess, award show, the first one ever.
Yeah, right. Giving out awards for, it seems like things kind of across the space, like best in class, best of this and that.
Yep.
We got some like media things, some podcasting, company-based, software-based.
Yep. Non-plant
excited
touching
to
stuff,
see
basically, right?
Kind of how it rolls out, man.
Yeah, it should be pretty cool. It's sort of black tie, but also can be trippy and stuff like that. You can get on their Instagram and check out what the attire is, what you're supposed to wear and stuff. It should be interesting because I've never seen a bunch of stoners, and I don't know if any of these folks are real stoners or not because I don't know many of them in these companies. I really don't. It'll be interesting to see everybody kind of dressed up and doing their thing.
Getting together, man.
Yeah,
for real.
It will be. But we're gonna, be on the red carpet or green carpet, so to speak. We have 2 writers, myself, and a photographer, and we're gonna be talking to people, getting photos.
Nice, man.
Finding out what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. And let's see who wins.
Yeah,
we're gonna be some of these awards.
We're gonna be the E of weed.
There you go.
And be on the red carpet, so to speak, and just try to do something different.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, it's awesome to see how Fat Nugs has evolved. I'm still happy to have articles in the editions, man, and looking forward to see what's next. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude. Hope BizCon's a good one for you.
Thank you very much, dude. You
Thanks
too.
for hopping on, dude.
I appreciate you.
Yep. Peace, Dustin.
Peace, man.
What's up, everybody? We're here on the floor for MJBizcon. It is day 3, and we're with Sydney Weiser from Neatleaf. Sydney, how's it going today?
Good. How are you?
Hey, hanging in there. I literally just got started, walked in the conference and turned left, found myself in the Neatleaf booth.
All right, awesome. Good morning.
Yeah, you guys have good placement for that.
Yeah, thank you. We picked it a little strategically.
Right, I can see what you're up for. Yeah, and the booth's looking good here. Can you explain a little bit about Neatleaf and what you guys are providing for the space?
Sure, of course. So here at Neatleaf, we've developed a robot that zips around the canopy, just below the lights and above the canopy, goes around 24/7. It's got high-resolution cameras along with AI to really kind of tell you all about your plant health as it's happening.
Okay, so really canopy analysis, just taking a look at everything for like pest management, daily light integral kind of things?
Of course. Well, there's also like maybe someone walks into the room today and is like, okay, things are looking a little bit yellow. They were also looking yellow yesterday. Is it more yellow than yesterday? Is it less yellow?
You can actually get a comparison, kind of see where you're at, or even find a trend, huh?
Yeah, so you can actually get a quantification. I can't really point you to the dashboard through the podcast.
Right, yeah. For our listeners, they have a pretty slick looking dashboard here showing
so yeah,
it's like
here we've
ranges
got like
of VPD, temperature, humidity,
so
CO2.
I didn't mention that before, but alongside all of our high-resolution cameras, we all have tons of environmental sensors. So we can tell you all about, like, for example, microclimates within your facility.
Oh, wow. So you can
well
find hot spots or cold areas anywhere that's...
definitely. Also, like, if you move a fan around the facility, how has that actually changed and distributed your microclimates?
Actually
Sometimes
see the
it makes it
benefits
better,
or lack
sometimes
of.
Sometimes it makes it worse. Also, kind of like evenness of canopy coverage from, like, illumination. We can let you know if your lights are starting to fail, etc.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Are there any specific regions you're focusing on, or is it across the nation right now?
Right now we're all across the U.S. Actually, half of our team is in Germany, half of our team is in Santa Cruz.
Oh, cool.
Although right now all of our installations are throughout the U.S. So we've got like Florida, Oregon, Washington, New Jersey, Arizona.
Oh man, building up quite a
Nevada.
footprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the
we're
service
moving.
is great. Yeah, do you guys have an API to integrate out to any other systems?
So at this point, we don't have an API, but we're always like looking for partners. If anyone wants to integrate with us, we're totally open to that.
Oh yeah, as a software guy myself, I could see the value potentially, tapping into a seed to sale and being able to look at now some of the cogs and materials and labor that's going into the product, and then use some of this canopy information to see if you're, doing the right thing.
Yeah, of
Kinda
course.
build the
Yeah.
full picture.
I do a lot of our cloud infrastructure and data science also, so I'm always super
Oh,
excited
nice.
about that. But always want to know who's integrating with us on the API. It's a lot of data to pull, so you have to
Oh, it looks
know
like
what
it.
you're
Yeah.
trying to pull.
Right, certain endpoints and a bunch to parse through.
Yeah, so here we also have what's really unique about our system is just like a complete top-down view of the canopy.
Okay.
So a
All
lot of the
right.
time you'll walk into a room and the canopy is actually over your head usually. And then you're down there and you want to say do I have any bud necrosis or bud rot? Is there any botrytis in my room? And you're I don't know, I can barely see the buds. They're
You're
way
very
over
much
my head.
kind of stuck from your perspective.
Yeah, definitely. Versus the AI can actually pick that out in a whole canopy. So we have
Yes,
some
that's
rooms
awesome.
up to 4,500 square foot. And
Wow.
how long would it take someone to kind of really scout every bud in that room and see if there's any necrosis? Versus the AI can pick it up within minutes.
And for the listeners, the AI, the canopy scanner and AI humidity environmental scanner, everything in the box is about, what is it, maybe 7x7 square box that's attached at all four corners of the room, and looks like it allows it to just move at all the vectors, right? Cover the whole space.
Yeah, definitely. So we can go back and forth up to 4,500 square foot, as I was saying. We can also lower the system down a little bit to get an idea of here's your light spread right below the lights. Here it is about 3
interesting.
feet down
Can you,
at the
put
canopy
some
level.
slack into the lines.
So we just kind of
Very
lower
cool.
it down. It's almost kind of like a little football camera.
Oh,
so
yes.
Some people that resonates a little
Yep.
better with. There's
zipping around.
Yeah, we can also do some cool analytics like plant height by strain. But one thing that people really love is so let's say someone walks into the room, takes a look, they're okay, the plants are looking a little bit yellow today. We also have our AI layer. We can just kind of take a look and see where, for example, leaf folding is distributed within the facility to kind of
see kind of a
if there
heat
could
map
be
of those
a heat
problems.
map, yeah, and you can take a look and see okay, one strain has a little more folding than the other. All right, how did this happen? But with our system, you can actually just go and rewind in time and see from the plants when they were first loaded within the facility, and you can keep kind of going forward in time.
So you can actually click through a timeline of those photos of the canopy space and see, was it when they switched to the second week newts? Is that what threw it off? Is it the
could
light
be,
change?
But what actually you can also see in this example is it was actually Christmas Eve. Everything really started tanking. So everyone was out on vacation because we also have the
Left the ladies to
environmentals.
be a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you kind of take a look, we also have the environmentals. You can see what actually happened in those days leading up to that failure. And you can see actually there was an ongoing HVAC failure right on Christmas Eve.
Oh, wow.
So you can take a look
Yeah.
also and see that there are some early
Talk about
warning
timing.
signs. Yeah, if you take a look at that's PPFD. VPD, for example, you can actually see those really early morning VPD spikes. Something wasn't really working right as the lights are turning on in the morning.
Right.
But we can get kind of quick detections of that. Also tell you if it's worse in one part of the room or another.
So if you're managing multiple rooms or bigger facility, you can kind of have this central point of truth where you can keep an eye on things, right? Check your trends in the morning or kind of throughout the day.
Or just laying in bed even. You can access it from your
if
cell
you're feeling
phone.
anxious at home like we all do.
Before you go to bed, maybe just are the ladies doing all right?
Exactly.
Are my plants doing fine? Just take a look, make sure everything's okay, go to bed. Or you could be sometimes we have people who are out on vacation and they're not at the facility. They're relying on kind of word of mouth from some of their staff to see how things are going. But
sometimes you just need to see.
Sometimes you need to see.
Yeah, a lot of cultivators are really, it's both fortunate and unfortunate to cultivate. You get tied at the hip, right? It's like having a massive, demanding fish tank.
And things can go wrong in a very expensive way very quickly.
Right.
So I think that
So this
really
having the
leads
system
to a lot
is-
of anxiety that we hope to alleviate.
And how do folks go about setting up the system? Is it per room or is it per facility, square footage?
So yeah, it's like a subscription model. So a lot of our costs are also in data storage and by canopy square footage. So we price the system per square foot. So it's only 30 cents a square foot, which we aim to be around 1% of the revenue per square foot to make sure it's really affordable and accessible to everyone.
Nice. Okay.
So for a 1,000 square foot facility, that would be about $300 per month.
Okay. Oh, wow. So you can really get started quickly, not necessarily breaking the bank, and bringing in so much data.
And also, like, no upfront costs, so we really want it to be low barrier to entry for anyone who's really wanting to
try
get
it
into
out
it.
and see. Yeah.
And we have a 2-month pilot, so just in case you're not sure if you like it or not, no
awesome.
risk to kind of sign up, try it for 2 months. We're pretty confident that once you see the data, you don't really
Yeah, it speaks for itself once you start seeing kind of under the hood of your own grow, right?
Yeah, definitely. But then also, like, if you decide after 2 months you don't like it, no problem, we come pick it up.
Hey,
no risk to you.
Excellent. Awesome, Sydney. Yeah, thanks for the rundown. Where can folks find more info about Neatleaf?
Yeah, just check us out at neatleaf.com. That's probably the best spot. You can also reach out to me, Sydney, at Neatleaf.
What's up, everybody? We're back on the floor. It's MJBizcon Day 3, and I'm here with Ryan Noll from Green Rooster Gourmets. Ryan, man, what's going on?
Oh, not too much. Just enjoying this year's show. MJBizcon's been kicking off pretty well. It's been a good one.
Yeah, dude, you guys have some prime placement as well, very close to the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It never hurts.
Catching
never
that foot
hurts.
traffic. So tell me about the superior mushroom products you're bringing to the table today, man.
Yeah,
It looks like quite a selection.
We do have quite a selection. We have everything you need from A to B to start growing your own mushrooms at home. It's a great product selection. We have self-healing spawn bags, substrate bags, full kits, isopropyl alcohol, literally everything you need.
Right. So just enough to get started, all the info you need to kind of grow your own and like see the process, right? Start benefiting.
Exactly. We have great process, good customer service. So if you have any questions, you need to do anything like that, give us a call. We have some YouTube videos that you can check out that kind of teaches you some of the basic process. And
awesome,
all
man.
of our kits have a very good instructional packet with them. Makes it pretty easy to do. You can kind of just pick up one of the kits with no experience at all, and within about a month and a half, have some pretty good gourmet mushrooms for yourself.
Man. Cool, yeah, and start cooking up a feast and start experiencing it. I love seeing the cakes here, all fruiting and sitting in front of the stand too. That's awesome. Man.
No,
so
definitely an eye catcher.
Yeah, it'll draw a certain crowd right away.
Exactly.
Good. So how did Green Rooster get started? Tell me the story here, man. Or where did the idea come from initially?
And honestly, Green
mushrooms?
Rooster, it's been started because one of the co-founders of the company kind of just had a thing for roosters back in the day and had this weird design that came in, and it was about 15, 20 years ago, and we just kind of ran with the logo and stuck with
awesome,
it.
Man.
And then
that's how good things get started sometimes.
Exactly. And a few years back, we really wanted to get into the gourmet mushroom industry, and we're like, you know what? We really like that name. Like, how can we bring the name into this industry? And it, GRG, Green Rooster Gourmets, it was born.
Yeah, man. And so the story begins, right?
Exactly.
Nice. What's your favorite product or serving method that you guys are working with now? I noticed you have some gummies, some. What else is on the table? Some chocolates.
Yep, gummies, chocolates. There's all sorts of different things that you can do, and infusions that you can do. You can get different capsules, pills, different things like that. Lion's mane, reishi, blue oyster. They all have different things.
So once you cover the obstacle of learning to grow,
yep.
the next fun part is just what are you going to do with it now?
What are you going to do with it? You can dehydrate them, you can cook them and eat them fresh, you can turn them into different things. A lot of people are getting into the whole microdosing aspect and taking pills or taking coffees and things like that.
Just taking a mix or a little combination of a few different mushrooms that they will like to benefit with and supplement with.
Yep, everyone has a little bit of a different mentality, and their bodies work differently, so it's a kind of a trial and an error thing to figure out what works best for you, but it's not like it's going to hurt by taking the pill. It's a completely organic, natural thing.
Right,
so.
Folks just need to figure out their own balance on that side.
Exactly.
And it's kind of odd how few or how long it's taken for like home cultivation with mushrooms and gourmet cultivation to kind of get traction,
It really has.
Even without like modern tech, it's not overly complex to create mushrooms with a clean environment, provided it's clean, right?
Exactly. That's the most important thing, is keeping it clean. And it's, mushrooms, they want to grow. It's, it's a fungus. It's something that they pop, they grow. It's very easy to do. It's almost set it and forget it. And that's why we have the kits that we designed, because they create the sterile environment for you.
Okay,
and that's the one thing you typically have to worry about. But if you have a sterile environment, you have self-injection ports, you really don't have to worry about any of it.
So the kit is all contained, and it has an area that you can add the spore without really impacting anything, huh? And you just set it in a dark place, kind of let it be for a while. How long does it take, kind of the average mushroom cultivar to cover that cake and get ready to fruit?
To cover the cake usually takes about 3 weeks to a month with the normal cultivar. After
Gotcha.
that, depending on which one you're growing, it's another 3 weeks to a month and a half to be fully eating your fruits and things like that. Some of the stuff can take a little bit longer when you get into like Black Reishi and some of the really exotics out there.
They make you want it. You
yeah,
gotta
you
be
gotta
patient.
earn those ones, but they are beautiful when they're grown correctly.
Really?
So
Yeah.
they're absolutely amazing. It's almost like a work of art. You grow those ones and you don't even want to eat them almost.
You're just
So-
watching it form like a flower. Almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
It's
that
amazing.
or that prized cucumber in the garden.
Yep.
You've been working on all year.
Yep, that's a fact.
What's the most like voracious grower of the mushrooms? If the Black Reishi is kind of the most pokey one,
I would
is there one that's
say
just like easy mode? It's going to produce.
Lion's Mane and Blue Oyster are probably two of the easiest to deal with.
They're going to roll and stay pretty stable. huh?
Stable, exactly. That's usually what I recommend beginners to grow with to kind of get their feet wet, and they both have very different flavors, and they're delicious.
Kind of
Especially if you've never had Lion's Mane, it's kind of a whole other type of mushroom.
Interesting. It's a good range and a way to dig in. Yeah.
Definitely.
Cool, man. Well, where can folks learn more about GRG?
GreenRoosterGourmets.com is going to be the best place to do it. We're also available in a bunch of retail stores throughout the U.S. and hopefully expanding a little farther after the show.
Hey, sweet, dude. I'm going to have to track down a kid and do a little blog post about it.
Yeah, sounds great to me.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, appreciate it, Rob.
Yeah, dude. Sebastion, man, welcome to the show. Welcome to Apartment 113, dude. How's BizCon been so far?
Thanks for having me, Rob. Yeah, BizCon has been amazing. How's it been for you?
Oh, man, digging it. Just walking around, just learning about what everyone's up to this year and seeing all the good strains and things around the corner. It's awesome to see the progress every year. I think this is my 6th one now.
Wow. Okay.
It's
cool.
been a minute. How about you?
Well, it's my first BizCon.
Hey,
I've been on many cannabis trade shows, but the first time in the USA.
Awesome.
So it's interesting to compare the European market, which is much more home grow based
Yeah.
than the American market.
Yes,
And
yeah.
be here with fast buds and be here to really have people coming. Like growers we know, like Free Grow, who's taking a photo of us right now.
And they've been coming through and growing your strains for a while. Huh? Making
Exactly,
them
and they
work
bring us like nice samples like this one, our Gorilla cookies here. Look,
Let me see
you
that
just
here.
touch it and smell, dig in there. It's so
man.
good.
For the listeners here, we got a giant nug of. Oh man, when you break that, and get the terpenes out of the middle. That is delicious.
It tested yesterday, I think, at 28.5% THC.
28.5.
Yeah, for an autoflower strain.
Yeah. Oh, and on the autoflower too. Get it be a little hands off, kind of quicker turnaround. And
70 days, 80 days, and you're through.
and
Done.
some resiliency too. They stand up to some.
They don't care. They really don't care, really.
they're
I
gonna
mean,
fly.
if you hit them hard with anything, any plant cares.
Eventually
But
they
like
can.
usually they don't give a crap. They just
Gotcha.
go. They keep on going.
So tell me the story, man. How did you get Fast Bud started on the Europe side?
Well, it was about 12 years ago, I think, the breeding started because it was like inspired by the new upcoming autoflowers, mainly like Lowrider.
Yes.
20 years ago,
Okay.
Joint Doctor comes out with this tiny little cannabis strain which flowers by itself, and
it's
everybody's
just
like,
turning out beautiful trichome heavy nuts.
yeah, but in the beginning, like 20 years ago, it was like, okay, this doesn't have much terps.
It was sort of actually discarded, huh?
Yeah, it was just a novelty thing. It was more like, oh, cool, I can grow this in my closet while I'm at college.
Right.
And
Inside a computer case or something.
You got it, exactly. So, and the interesting fact about it was that how quick it was, and how, and that you didn't need a photo period.
Yes, right. You don't have to veg it for that time. You can just set it and forget it, basically, one system.
You can just put a 24-hour light on and leave it and come back 70 days later. If you have watering system, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow. So it's really it's the best way to enter homegrown and start cultivating, do you think? With
Yeah, I
autoflowers?
think so. It's a good, easy start because you don't have to worry. You'll make mistakes. If you start something, you will make mistakes. But I think
Right.
we all do make our mistakes. And I think an auto will teach you
Kinda where to
the right
start.
things, like the
yeah.
patience. It will teach you the patience. It will teach you so many things about that.
And in kind of a shorter cycle so that you can learn faster, right?
100%.
Fail forward, start again, get the next grow going, try the
100%.
ladies, see how it goes.
Yeah, you can have 4 or 5 runs every year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
So it kind of increases your learning from that. So what kind of selection do we have here today? We got Strawberry Gorilla.
Yes,
Tropicana
Strawberry
cookies.
Gorilla is like killing it this year. Won the American Autoflower Cup. I just won the French Cup with it.
Man,
Got
congrats.
tested at almost 30% THC. Won the San Diego Farmers Cup in the rosin category for best combined terpenes, competing against
man.
regular
Great.
photoperiodic strains. So you compete with an auto against
compete.
photoperiodic
Yeah,
in
straight
rosin,
up.
and you win for more terpenes than them. So there is your questions
something
answered
right,
about are autos potent? Yes, 30% I think is okay for now. It's not we're not at 45 yet, as some people claim to be with their strains, but we're at 30 and
I
we're
question
proud,
that.
and
Yeah.
the terpenes are on. And yes, we have this one. I won with the Tropicana cookies. I won the Autoflower World Cup.
Okay. Oh man.
So,
So where's
yeah.
the Autoflower World Cup?
That's in
hosted?
Barcelona
I see.
during Spanibus.
Ah,
Yeah.
Spanibus is on the list, man. I'd like to get there
Come,
next year.
come. Spanibus is amazing. Just expect to be very, very high most of the time, you know,
It's pretty
because
much a given, huh?
yeah, because it's a bit more consumer oriented than
Oh, it's a
this
little
one.
more open consumption.
Yeah,
lot more.
yeah.
That's- That's good. I feel
we
like,
beep we consume in our booth in Spanibus for sure.
Right.
But everybody does. Like it's like officially, yeah, you're not supposed to, but it's not like they catch you and they kick you out. They're
It's a
like,
little more
hey,
easygoing.
please don't do that in here. And then they turn around and you do it again, and they said, I don't do that. You know. So
Oh, that wasn't me. That was the next guy.
exactly.
I don't know
You
who
got
did
it.
that.
You know what? You know the game. You know the game.
Nice. Are there any other conferences on your circuit on the European side, or are you staying in the US for a while?
No, we're heading back home. We're going to LA just for a night and then
Yeah.
go back home.
Nice.
And then kind of, Christmas season,
Spend the
holiday
holiday back
season.
home,
Yeah.
eat some
And then
food
I
going.
think it usually starts in February. We just recently come from Thailand too. Not
Oh,
us
awesome.
in person, but our two of our guys went to Thailand
Oh, that's
because it's
great,
an
man.
amazing,
Yeah,
great
it's crazy
market.
to see how the market's growing there. It just exploded, right? Overnight.
Crazy. Yeah, I mean, you legalize it and then people are stepping up. And there's so many people who are so interested in learning more because there was not that huge underground culture. The underground culture is like brickweed. You know, good brickweed. Like Thai brickweed is like good sativa, but it's still brickweed.
Right.
You know, in the end of the
Created,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all trying to learn now how it's been done, how to curate
Exactly, and we
quality, how
work
to
really close with the cultivators there together, so it's really nice to come to Thailand, and they also bring you strains like that.
Yes, yeah.
And
that's-
yeah, you
that's
see
gotta be
there's
cool
like
to
a
see
huge
your
selection
strains
here.
spread out through the world, man.
Sorry, say that again.
How does it feel now to see your strains and things you helped to create kind of spread out through the world and in all these grows, man?
I mean, it's amazing because you get to meet all these growers who actually grow it
Yeah.
and who have the passion for the plant, just like you have the passion for the plant.
Yeah.
And if you have that, it's like, wow,
You
it's
kind of pass the torch, man.
yeah,
You
and
see
you're
it
like, but
burning
you
across the
connect so
ocean.
close with them, and you get to test their products. Of course, they're not just standing here. We also can go test them. You know,
Yes,
you
yeah.
get to test the strains which you grew, they grew. You know, and it's like, and you get the feedback, and I think that's one of the most important things for our,
And getting that direct user feedback. Like these are the guys in the trenches, man, right? They've been relying on the product. They're putting
100%.
they're putting all their faith in it if it's taking up space in their grow.
True that. Yeah, and like the guy who's growing this chubs, I think he's outside smoking a blunt.
Yeah.
But he
Where
is a
many
medical
should be.
grower.
Okay.
Like his child has severe autism and no seizures. She gets seizures, right? And so he managed to grow this, turn it into a magazine like ours, like Rick Simpson oil and stuff,
Yes, yeah.
and in capsules. That's him.
Awesome, man.
And he
Able
he
to
tried
treat
after
and
some time bringing the kid back to the doctor. Couldn't trigger any more seizures.
Oh, dude,
They tried to, but they couldn't do it anymore.
that is wild.
You know, and so if you see, it's not just that part of it. Even like for a home, even if you're targeting the home grower, you enable him to take care of his family the best way possible.
Yes,
Still have some leftover herbs to have his own fun, but helping
Still
out his
help and
kids.
contribute, give back. Yeah, man, that's beautiful. And I think that's honestly, home grow is something in the U.S. that has been legacy. You know, it's existed forever and still does. But with the industry making a huge splash, there's not a lot of focus sometimes on being able to just grow at home and doing it yourself. Do you think that the U.S. will catch up eventually, or that home growers will start growing more and competing? Or do you see, kind of from your outside perspective now, that the U.S. industry is kind of ruling it? in the bigger companies?
I don't think so. I think it's an issue that we have states like Florida, where I can get medical anything. It's no problem. There's like a huge industry there,
Right.
but I'm legally not allowed to grow. Like I go to the dispo and buy myself an ounce of fucking weed every day if I want to.
Yeah.
It's no problem, but I can't have 3 or 4 or 5 plants at my house and
Just
take care of for
quietly in your
myself.
own home.
And I grow living soil. Like I want everything to be organic,
Yes.
not just for my wife's sake to be organic,
Right.
for my own sake, for the taste. I like
But
it
to
better.
Actually, yeah, right.
So-
to actually create quality and
Exactly, and you have
that
that
kind of
possibility there. And while you even in a dispo, even if you trust the guys, do you really know what's in it? Maybe
Everything
they
you
don't always know because they run a business. They need to survive in the end of the day, and that is for me. It will come. It will come more and more if we ever get to the point that we get the
Kind of
legalization
more
of at least a
standard
few plants.
regulations.
Just like a few plants.
Yeah, like
and
many
then
states have like a 6 plant limit, and it's like, okay, now 6 plants. All right, at least you can have your little 4x4 tent. You can churn out a few grows a year and actually create some things. Ed Rosenthal calls it the tomato model. Just legalize cannabis like tomatoes. If you wanted to make your own ketchup at home or your own marinara sauce, you can. No one's going to stop you from growing your whole garden of tomatoes. I think we're not far off that, but still probably a decade.
I think we're getting there. And the reason probably why you're doing this, at least that's the reason why I'm doing it, why I'm even recording us right now here, is I want to destigmatize. I want to legalize. I want to speak up and I want to say what I think. And I think growing a plant makes you will love that plant more. I think I always consumed weed since I was way too young, but since I've been growing weed, I feel such a deep connection to this plant,
and
and
there's something about actually watching it grow and being there every day, seeing that flower bud start, right? And then that first flower that you're starting to smell too, and get those terpenes off of it.
That's the best, no?
Yeah, it's
and then
delicious.
having your favorite strain and keep on burping that jar and like, I think she needs another burp. Like after the 15th burp of the
Take
day,
another
she needs
smell.
another burp just so I can smell again.
Sometimes when you're smelling that fresh flower, it feels like you can't inhale long enough. Like you're trying to smell deeper.
Yeah.
Just in.
I love it. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so we're just trying with these genetics, and we're trying to have something for everybody. The purple lemonade has been out there for like 5 years. Really beautiful purple.
Excellent,
Almost every single pheno is really purple, and it smells just like a bowl of lemons.
Oh yeah, look.
Bestseller is Gorilla Cookies. It's just super strong. Has the stickiness of the Gorilla and the pungentness, and then you still have that little doughy stuff. We try to come out with every year with some like new taste. The apricot is kind of something new, a new turn.
What's your sleepiest indica?
The apricot is right there up there.
Heavy.
Yeah.
If it couch locks, folks, I'll enjoy that.
Yeah. The apricot's definitely
That's where it's
definitely
at,
there. There
That's
is a
awesome.
strawberry. What do we have? The strawberry pie is super heavy. We also have these original lines, so you can get a cheese in an auto version or a skunk or a white widow or
get some of the
an OG
classics.
Kush.
Right.
Like whatever. And now recently we just started crossing our very, very top lines, the best sellers, what people
Starting to make
really
some
love,
combinations, huh?
and we cross them back to the cuts where they're coming from. So they are like actually F1 crosses of an
Right.
auto and a photo
Excellent,
period.
man. Yeah,
and
so
so it
Gorilla
reduces your
Cookies,
flowering time, but you have full
backdrops.
you have full control. Like
Yeah.
meaning you want to veg out, you want to scrog out a whole room with it, no issue,
Give it
scrog out.
time. Yeah. So actually, you could have your choice then with the strains.
Exactly.
And,
We try
take
to
it auto.
really have something for everybody. You have to,
Yeah, right.
The
It's not really
customers
one size
demand
fits
it,
all
and we
cultivation.
just respond to what the customers are asking for in the end. No?
Yeah, awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, well, Sebastion, good, man. Thanks for jumping on the show and telling us about the shop. Where
Thanks
can
so
folks
much for
learn
having
more
me.
about Fast Buds and find some seeds of their own.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Rob. And always remember, it's 420 somewhere.
Cheers. What's up, everybody? Still here on the floor, day 3 at MJBizcon, hanging out with Green Check Verified, a long-standing guest in the making, man. We've been messaging on LinkedIn for a few months and bounced into each other at
We're not measuring it
Benzinga.
in years yet?
Huh?
I thought we were measuring it in years. at this point.
What has it been, like maybe 1 year?
Yeah,
1 year total?
1.1.
Yay, well, welcome to the show, man. Welcome to Apartment 113. Brett Puffenbarger, Welcome, dude, and congrats on the recent role. I think I saw that you joined Green Check not too long ago.
A little over a year ago now.
Oh, okay, gotcha, man. How's Green Check doing, man, and what are you guys bringing to the table?
I think we're doing amazing, man. We've launched 3 new products in the last 12 months.
Wow.
That's been a sprint.
Yeah, jeez, man. Just one thing after the next, huh?
Yeah. So like back at the beginning of 23, we decided simple, basic understanding. We provide compliance software to banks. Hook up to your track and trace your point of sale system as a cannabis company, report it to the banks.
Gotcha.
You safely. Pretty simple. We figured out pretty early on that's a bottleneck for a lot of other essential services cannabis companies need. Payroll, HR services, lending, funding, payments, anything. So rather than just kind of haphazardly let it happen, we decided to create a marketplace, kind of like you would see on Credit Karma, where cannabis companies can come shop for any of the boring stuff.
Right. So they can actually find all the services they need, kind of in a bundled portfolio, or if they need one kind of financial service, odds are they're going to need the others shortly after. Yeah.
So think about it like Credit Karma, right? Like based on your information, they tell you, we can get you this car loan, this house loan, this credit card. Do you want to refinance this? That, right? We can do
Gotcha.
that for cannabis companies. Do you need lending, funding, payments, payroll, staffing?
Oh, man. So once you go through all the hard work and get the impossible done and get your license, then they come to you guys and get all the numbers straight, and maybe even beforehand, huh?
It's a cakewalk from there, right? And yeah, honestly, people come to us before because you kind of have to have your shit together.
Yeah, kind of getting your business plan written, your projections,
Even
understanding
more
your
than
bank.
that, like some states, Florida's a really good example. They want you to have all of your service providers picked out before you're ever there, right? So their application doesn't just say like, we will secure state legal banking relationships and card processing. They'll say, we are
What's your
utilizing
account number?
XYZ bank, utilizing Green Check Verified for compliance, and then we'll be using ABC payments processing and
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's a lot more red tape. Those are some hoops to jump through.
Yeah, and for us, we can be a one-stop shop to solve it.
Yeah.
Why go search for 50 things when I can give you 3 or 4 options in each category that already want to work with you?
Yeah, definitely. And that can be so hard for some of these business owners, like facing the world right now in cannabis, having someone there to help with the finance side and advise, keep them in the lane, right, and follow suit there can make wonders.
Yeah.
I imagine going to financial institutions that don't know about cannabis and starting to have some of these same conversations will get shut down pretty fast by some institutions, and then maybe would get led astray by others without having that kind of industry knowledge, right?
So that's a big part of what we do. One of our core business verticals is selling, marketing, talking to, educating banks, right? We do monthly boot camps with one of our co-founders where he educates bankers on cannabis topics. We do all sorts of stuff. So like even before a bank becomes a Green Check bank, right? Before they start using our baseline software, they go through an entire like board prep and training on how to service cannabis companies, how to understand what we do. Because so think about it like this, right? As weed people, we understand what a dispensary does, how it operates. We understand how it grows, what it does, how it operates. We understand how an extraction company works.
Right. There's nothing about the vernacular that's like obscure, right? We're just talking and we can drop all the industry terms.
They don't know that. Right? And it's this is going to sound super elementary to us, but like something as simple as like, hey guys, retail is retail. A dispensary is no different than a 7-Eleven or a Walmart as far as how it looks on the balance sheet, right?
Yes.
Same thing with a cultivation. It's no different than like
manufacturing or some kind of assembly supply chain.
You ever banked a steel plant or a corn farm or a milk business? Like, well, congratulations. Like
it's going to be just like that.
It's that. And for most of them, they believe the same BS that cannabis companies do. Like, oh, I'm not a credit union, I can't bank them. Or like, oh my God, it's federally legal, that's hard. And it's not. It's complicated.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
It's not impossible, but if you know what you're doing or you have the guidance like Green Check can provide, it's available. And man, there are so many businesses that are waiting for more banks to come online that way that I imagine that's pretty lucrative for a bank to add just a new tranche, right? A new industry for them.
Yeah, so that's the primary driver for financial institutions. They want the deposit money, and then eventually the next goal is money, right? How do we get them lending money? How do we get them participating and growing the industry? Not just supporting it, but growing.
actually in the trenches or providing that assistance now to businesses.
Exactly.
So banks can come to Green Check and go through that process, and businesses can come to Green Check to get connected with banks
Exactly.
or to be found.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome, man. And what was the third product in the mix that was created?
So we actually bought our own financial institution, somewhat like the Zelle of ZA or the PayPal of pot or the Cash App of cannabis. So think
Gotcha.
B2B payments, could be a backup bank account, could replace a bank account. It's not a bank account, it's a stored
Okay.
value account. So
Ooh,
without
nice.
getting into the weeds of it, like
Yeah,
think of how Zelle works. We
right.
can do
Kind of
that.
a wallet, ACH or a wallet
Yep.
deposit.
Exactly. So we
Okay.
can do that for cannabis companies now. So if you're a cultivator and you're trying to pay or get paid by a retailer, we can do
Yes.
instant on your phone like it's the movies.
That's awesome, man.
Like no
Yeah.
duffel bag full of cash, none of that. Like just doot 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 dunk.
Just right there, man. It's good to know where some B2B payment options may be. I know in the world of payments, it's B2C that's driving the headlines. That's the problem. I mean, everyone knows the problem there with accepting PIN debit, cashless ATM.
Yeah, but nobody
you
talks
kinda
about the
forget
real problem.
The
of-
massive, banking and...
not even that. The real problem is retailers aren't paying cultivators. Extraction companies aren't paying cultivators. Cultivators aren't paying extraction companies. Cultivators aren't paying,
Right.
packaging suppliers. Like
Right.
part of that is they don't have money because a lot of people are struggling.
They're
but
getting pinched on
Part
it.
of it is also, it's a huge pain. And even if they do pay you, so pre us existing state,
Yeah.
well, you're going to send me a wire transfer. It's going to sit in escrow for 3 weeks, and I don't
So
see
you have to use
it,
some
and then it
funky
doesn't-
process.
Yeah, right. You got to fight a guy in a raincoat and wrestle a minotaur and know the
There's
secret
a-
password.
And realize you followed the guy with the dummy backpack the whole
Yeah.
time.
Doing it in 3 seconds on a phone and going,
Payment
it's there.
received.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing I think that distinguishes that, or it's kind of surprises me that people have missed the B2B option, is that a B2B payment is it could be like $16,000 for massive shipments. It
More.
could be, it could be much more, right? Versus the
talking
small
to-
consumer transactions of like $30 to $50 pop.
Right. It's not a volume game. It's
Right.
We were talking to a distributor in Washington, and they were telling me that their average ticket size is like $480,000 because they
Oh,
only
man.
make 3 sales
was
a
way
month.
underestimated that.
They're a distributor to distributor. They're an outlier, right? But
Yes. Yeah.
that.
But
Where
that's
can
really
you-
moving a huge amount of money quickly and needing the banks that can back it and,
Right.
and
They're
be confident
flipping
in that.
warehouses at a
Right.
time.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's the fun stuff, man. Do you guys have an API to allow other software to tap into
So
that
that's-
goodness?
That's number 4.
Ooh,
that's the final
hey.
one. So just a month and a half, 6 weeks ago, we launched something called Green Check Access. So Green Check
Okay.
Access is a combination suite of APIs and data integrations. So we've got integrations
Sweet.
to 21 point-of-sale systems, both major track and trace systems, a bunch of loyalty and e-commerce platforms.
Oh, man.
We can
All
do
that fun stuff.
embedded payments on your loyalty platform. We
Talking
can
my language,
do
man, on the software side.
all of that. So we're starting to monetize those aggregate level APIs. So
Yeah.
why go build 21 integrations if you want point of sale data? Why not build one?
Right.
And we'll turn on the hose. And then additionally,
allow all the point of sales to connect or hitch up if they'd like.
yeah. And then the bigger super secret is, so our core business model tracks transaction data at the dollar and SKU level for cannabis companies to report it to banks.
Yes.
So our waste product, our the thing we don't
Like the
use
extra piece is all of
is
that.
the largest repository of cannabis company data in the world.
That transactional amounts, cart totals,
And we are
cart
using
composition.
that to power the marketplace suggestions. We're using that to
Ah.
power, a la Intel Inside, some of the bigger data companies now, some
Oh,
of the
wow.
other things. So
Yeah.
we are undergoing a revolution from fintech company to true tech
Kind of
type
data company or almost analytics company at some point.
If I had a magic wand and could tell you the future, I expect to see Green Check Inside on a vast majority of information and technology in the cannabis space
Oh man,
in
that's
the next
awesome.
couple of months or years.
Yeah.
What we have built and are now finally starting to put out in the world now that it's ready is
Right. Really crossing or checking the boxes, huh? It's exactly what some folks need. And
we've grown up.
Thank you for listening to the Apartment 113 podcast. For more information about the show, along with our services and courses, visit apt113.com. We offer cannabis software product management, cannabis education courses, and freelance writing. With over a decade of experience in the cannabis industry, Apartment 113 is here to help.